Support for today's show comes from CareerFitter. CareerFitter will help you evaluate other career possibilities for yourself. Order the premium version using the link below. Take 10 minutes, answer 60 questions, I believe it is, and they'll give you some ideas that will get you thinking. And that's really what you want to be doing, having outside input help you think about ideas. So again, use the link in the show notes, order the premium version. Episode 2189 of the number one podcast and Apple Podcast for job search. This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Now, there's some very good podcasts about job search, but their library is fairly short. And I know that it's confirmed time and again when people hear how many episodes I have, and I interview other podcasters for this show from time to time, and there's silence when they hear the number of shows in my library. And I'll just simply say, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, they tend to show only the first 300 or the most recent 300 episodes. But if you go to anchor.fm and you do a search for the original No BS Job Search Advice Radio, you've got the first 1,600. And then No BS Job Search Advice Radio has all the shows after that. So another 500. Huge catalog that I have. And I know I've spoken with a radio station about carrying my library of shows. It looks like we're going to be starting fairly soon with an 8 a.m. slot daily with my content. So I do hope you enjoy it. I'll have an announcement about that officially very soon. Today's show is one where someone asks, why are they asking me for references and I haven't had an interview yet? And of course, this is a third-party recruiter, and I know what the drill is because one guy I knew would encourage his staff to do this all the time. So let me explain it to you in this show. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you don't fall for this. Hope you give this show an honest review wherever you listen to it, and we'll be back in one moment. Support for today's show comes from Top Resumes. Top Resumes is a site that will redo your resume, they'll redo your LinkedIn profile, get you great results, and they'll do it at a very fair price. Use the link in the show notes. They will treat you very well. And we'll be back in just one moment. Well, I'm going to assume that this is with a contingency recruiter. Now, I say that because if you're working with an executive search firm, they're going to want references and they're going to use them for the right reason. And you're going to know that in advance. You're not going to be distrustful of them. And you're going to want to provide them with what they need because they put together a package for their clients that includes the references, their impressions of you, the resume, and a few other documents to support your candidacy. Contingency search firms, contingency recruiters, different. And just recognize if you're going for staff level positions, if you're going for manager or director roles, most VP roles, you're not really dealing with an executive search firm. You're dealing with a contingency recruiter. So once you understand that, why are they asking for it? The answer is, and having worked in recruiting firms, and I didn't do this except when I was very much a beginner and I didn't know any better. But the idea is you call up the reference, who will tend to be a hiring manager, and you introduce yourself and say, I'm a recruiter. And I'm representing so-and-so, and I like to check references prior to representing them to a client. After all, our clients deserve the service of, are doing a thorough assessment of the person, some other BS. And then they do a legitimate reference check, where they are thorough and they're deep diving and they're hitting the questions hard and they're really evaluating you and asking that person to evaluate you. Then they flip it. And the flip is Thank you so much for making time with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you can see that when we represent a client, we do a deep dive and are remarkably thorough in what we do to save you time. So we're only presenting the best people to you. And I'm wondering if there's anything I can help you with at this time as a way of tangibly saying thank you. And what they're trying to do is to get a job to work on to earn a fee. They don't see you as a viable fee source. And once you're not placeable, they're looking for some additional way that they can make some money from you. And this becomes a way that they can get a job order to work on trying to fill and thus earn the fee in that way. So the way to respond to a contingency recruiter who's asking you for references is to simply say, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, we need a reference to present you. I'm not going to do that at this time. And I'm also going to tell you that if you're not going to do it, I know other firms will accept that response and represent me to this situation. So it's your choice. I'll go to someone else, or you've told me the name of the client, and I'll just go to them directly. But I prefer if we cut the charade here and get on to the business of representing me for this opportunity and other opportunities you have. Notice you're cutting the BS off and simply saying, if you won't do it, someone else will. And if they've told you who the client is, and you've told me who the client is, and I'll just go to them directly. Oh, they won't like that. Why not? Saves them $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. I think they'd like that. Well, I'll tell them not to interview you. Okay, go ahead. But, here's the fact of the matter. Someone else will represent me for this situation without having to check a reference. Choice is yours. What would you want to do? And 95 times out of 100, they'll say, let's move on. And they'll sound resentful, but you called their bluff. And now from there, you can move on. And they're probably not going to get you in because the fact of the matter is this is all a scam designed to find out who the hiring manager is or who your manager is to try and get jobs to work on. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here are a few things I can do to help you with your job search beyond simply being your coach. First of all, I've got a new book out called The Right Answers to Tough Interview Questions. It is like a cookbook with answers to tons of interview questions that you're going to be asked on interviews. And if you pair it up with my other new book, The Ultimate Job Interview Framework, they are a terrific pair of books to help you with interviewing. In addition, I have a new service where you can practice mock interviews. If you go to thebiggamehunter.us/mock, I've got a service there, very inexpensive, like $99, where we have mock interviews set up. I'm going to be adding more to it very soon, but you can record your answers to them, and then I can critique them and help you perform better on them. You probably have noticed my show notes are pretty thorough with products and services that can help you with your search. And connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/thebiggamehunter. Lastly, my website has a ton of great information. That's thebiggamehunter.us. Now, if you're not ready to go there and go through the blog, put the address in your phone, thebiggamehunter.us, Jeff Altman. So this way, when you're ready to go, you have a way of getting back to my website. Hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great!